So I see one viewer is there. Hello, please leave a comment so I know who's there. It's okay if every team is only providing one, but I would really like to go through that with you. So please say hello. We need this kind of interaction a little bit. That's the problem when we do the online event, that it's not just one channel. I need the feedback from you. So please, if you're watching this, use the comment chat box. Waiting a little bit more. It seems that, at least on Discord, all the members of the teams are not online, so that's not so good. Let's see. Because also I'm not really sure if this is recording automatically. Is every YouTube live recorded automatically? I'm not sure. So I see still only one person, and I don't get any hello. iViewer still only one. Not enough. That's really sad. I hope that doesn't mean you don't need or want customers. I said customer satisfaction, actually I mean validation. Oops. I have one viewer, so I should be online, right? Yeah. I have 2 viewers. Guys, please do me a favor. I need to know who is here. So please, there's a chat somewhere down there. Down there should be a chat box. Please leave a comment, so I know it's not just a bot or it's my other tab where YouTube is playing. So please, hello, who is here? Who is watching the webinar or presentation or whatever? No? I hope you're not using that just on your phone. It should work with the video on phone, but I'm not sure if you can actually use the chat function on your phone. And one thing you need to learn if you start a professional life is to use a computer for certain things, especially for kind of these online presentations. So, hello, who is here? Hello. Just leave a message or, so it's Sinal. Hi, Sinal. So at least one. Unfortunately, he is not a team member, but an organizer. If you can also send me a message on Discord. It's still only 2 people, and I'm pretty sure the other person is my YouTube tab I had to open. So okay, it's 2.5. I'll wait maybe 2 more minutes, but then we should not do it, and then maybe I do it later again or whatever. Too bad. So, I see someone from Team Papa Delivers online. But still only 2 people. Four. Now we are a little bit more. Again, everyone, hello. Please write a comment in the chat box. I need to know who is here and from what team you are, and then we can start the presentation. If you cannot see the chat window on YouTube, please just ping. Okay. Hey, Mbita. Thank you. Okay, so 2 people are there. Fine, then I will start. Welcome. I hope everything is going okay. Sorry, that's a bit quiet. Usually, if we are in one room, we actually push you and get you together for a lunch. Virtually, is that a little bit impossible? So it's also a bit of a discipline issue here. What I want to talk to you about is something called customer validation. The question is, do people only like your product or do they want to buy it? And there's a reason why I want to talk about that, because as you may know from Facebook, it's easy to get likes, but it's not so easy to actually get shares, or if you already have a business, to sell something on Facebook. And with this small presentation, I want to go a little bit into these topics. One question is, what is your job? So if you have a job already, or even in your team, please write just down, send me a message, what is your job? Chanhut, for example, you, I will then explain you briefly what this is about, why I'm asking you the question. Or let's do it hypothetically. So usually when I ask you what is your job, then you will say like, I'm a cook, I'm a receptionist, I'm a banker. Ah, see, you are a product coordinator. I did this presentation in a coffee shop and they told me I'm a barista, I'm the cashier. But actually, that's not your job. Your job is to make customers happy. And if your customers are happy, they are willing to do business with you. And that's important because it changes the focus from what your job description is to what the customer actually wants. And it's quite often forgotten what the customer actually wants. So for example, as a cook, I create food that my customers like and give them a great experience. As a manager, I create an environment for my staff to work at its best so they can make my customers happy. As a waitress, I make my customers feel welcome and relaxed. And as a security guard, I ensure the customer that his or her vehicle is safe. It's quite interesting how underrated security guards are. There are a few places where I only go because I like really the security guard. They are the first person to greet me when I come to your shop, to your coffee shop, to whatever. If they are nice and helpful, I have a much better feeling to go into the shop than someone who is basically sleeping all time. And it's often forgotten how important the first impression is someone has. That can be virtually on your app, what is your welcome screen, or what is your welcome website, but also in a shop experience or even in an office. If you don't have a receptionist, for example, and I'm coming into an open space and nobody says hello and everyone is staring at screens, not so nice. So who is your customer? And there are 3 different things to know. One is, imagine your typical customer. That's called personas. So when you have a customer, for example, Deliver app, you're doing, as far as I understand, B2B. So your customer will be a company? No, not really. It will be a person in this company. And this person, you have to imagine, it's Mr. X. He is about 32 years old. He is logistics coordinator. He is experienced with social media. He likes to use apps, whatever. You need to create an ideal customer, or what is called persona, then to understand this person a little bit better. If it's nurse 24, your customer is, because you want to get jobs for them, is a nurse. So who is looking for a job. So imagine the nurse as a 24-year-old who lost her job, lives at home, and yeah, whatever. In particular, you need to understand what they need in their job, like what relates to the job. But also, your customer is a market. You need to understand how big or small your target market is. And the market is, by the way, not just Cambodia. That's a big, big mistake many, many startups make. They think, oh, we do it in Cambodia and that's fine. I don't think that's a good idea. We are living in a globalized world. And if you create an app, why should this app not work in Malaysia or Indonesia? And then competition. Try to understand what your competition is doing right and what they're not doing right. And all of this information goes into what's called the hypothesis, which means it's a creation of a picture of your customer as you think you know him. Will you always know who your customer is? I don't think so. So such a hypothesis could be, my customers are trainer and teacher in hospitality who need a broader knowledge of business since they're not covered in their curriculum yet. They have experience in both teaching and hospitality. My products are a one-day workshop about startups, a one-day workshop about customer relationships. So that was, for example, something I did when I was talking to teachers in a hospitality school. Sorry. So they were my customers, and they needed something, and that was a little bit more knowledge about business. That was my job. And the reason, because they didn't learn it. So if the trainer and the teacher don't learn it, they will not, they cannot teach it to their students. So to understand your customer, especially as a startup or at the startup weekend, you need to talk to them. So the problem is, if you don't have a product, you may think, oh, how can I have customers if I don't have a product? But actually, they are out there. In a typical startup weekend, we would now tell you to go outside and ask people on the street if they want to buy or use your product. And if you have a physical product or even a virtual product, you can even ask them if they would pay or even pay. We had that. We had once a group who went out and they got actually money for something that's not even existing. I think $5 or something like that. So if you have what is called a value proposition, so your product, the description of your product or service, then you have to validate it. That means go out and find customers. A very easy way is to create a simple blank website and tell people what you're gonna do, and then you collect emails. And once you get emails from them, because they can subscribe to, like, I want to more know, oh, I want to know more, or that's something interesting, or whatever. So what you want to do is create a certain list of emails of people who are interested in your service. And then you have already potential customers and you can talk with them. You can also do that with a Facebook page and then share it and tell people to like it and then ask them about their needs. If you have a physical product, if you want to sell something, you can make what is called a pop-up stall. That means you just take a table, go out on the riverside or wherever, on a market, put the table there, put some of your products there, and talk to people who are passing by. Explain what you do, show them what you do. If you want to sell a cosmetic product, put it on their skin and get feedback from them. What is very, very important in startups is when you have a good idea and you want to validate it with customers, ask mentors or ask real people. Do not ask your friends or family. And the main reason is because your friends and family will always be nice to you. They will always say like, oh yeah, good Bong, great idea Bong, go ahead, you're my hero, idol. So it's not a good idea to do that. Find those people who are in the target market. So nurses, for example, or people who are working in logistics, people who need and are in charge of any kind of stuff that needs to be delivered, for example, from one point to another. So this is, I cannot emphasize this more or enough. Do not use your friends as test dummies, guinea pigs, or consultants, or your family. Don't. So how to interview customers, how to talk with them. Open questions. If you ask them, do you like it? They will most probably say yes, because they want to be nice to you. So ask them, what do you like about the product? Validate assumptions. If you think it's a good solution, ask them, how does it solve your problem? How would the product or my service make your life easier? How do you feel about what you have right now? So if people using their own driver for delivery right now, or if they go to, what's it called, any kind of Khmer24 jobs or whatever, and they're not happy, why they are not happy. What is important that in this period, do not sell your service. It's not about telling them what you do. It's really getting some feedback and listening to those people. Also, get numbers. If you do it seriously, you will try to validate your ideas with about 50 to 100 people. That would be really good. So when you do an interview or any kind of a survey outside, try to get some numbers. For example, if you want to know if your new breakfast menu is good, ask them, what do you eat for breakfast? So they can select noodle, porridge, muesli, bread, sushi, or I don't eat breakfast, or pork with rice, or whatever. But if you have a list, then they can tick it, and then you have a number at the end. The same is your breakfast different when you travel, yes or no? Things like that. So make sure that at the end you can validate it because you get some nice numbers. So once you've done that, once you have a survey, 100 people, you ask them about your product or your service, and most of them were like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, I would like to pay for it. Ask yourself again, is your customer still happy? Because even if you have a good product, it doesn't stop to ask your customers. So once you're done with this and you fine-tuned your product, your service, you changed something because of the survey and the feedback, then do that again. Maybe not with 50 people, depends on what kind of service you have. But in general, you should never ever stop validating your service or your product, ever. You can have a form like that, which looks a little bit complicated. You can have a survey, you can use any kind of web services that offers surveys, but do them. It's not enough to have likes on Facebook. Or on Instagram. Basically, forget any like or what's it like called on Instagram, the heart. So just forget it. It doesn't mean anything. What you need is really good numbers and really good feedback. Probably best if it's in kind of numbers, or as you see here, satisfaction with the research, library resources, that you see everything is green. So everything under 50% is green, and above 50% is green. So that means they are happy. If everything is red, you have a really big problem. This is what you want. If your customer is happy and he wants to do business with you, you have found the right service and the right product. I think that was it, right? Yips. We go back to StreamYard. So, any questions now about this topic? You can ask me now, or it might be a bit easier and also better for my laptop battery, because the fan is already running like hell. If you want to have a question, please ask it. You can do that in I Need Help in one of the channels, or send me a direct message about this. But make sure that you did some efforts in your team to validate your customers. It will be one of the things that judges are looking for. They want to know if you checked with customers. I think you at Papa Deliver, you already have some customers. Make sure they are with you because they're happy with your product, and not just because they like you. That would be not a good start, to be honest. Okay, that's from me. So please leave questions on Discord. I'm relying on that. We cannot, and I don't have the time, and also don't want to ask everyone of you every 5 minutes. You are grown up enough to ask you if you need help. Always go back to the judging criteria, because that's what at the end is important. And since we have now 2 teams, it doesn't mean that automatically one team is the winner. So we have kind of a competition, and it's important that you do that you follow this kind of instructions from the judging criteria, and that you can really make a good presentation. Thanks for now, and I will come back later in the afternoon again on Discord. Thank you.